You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
This is Theo Broden from Feedback. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman. I am here to address all of your complaints and concerns. If you need assistance regarding city services, please contact my office at 313-224-6000 or contact us via email at ombudsman@detroitmi.com.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpina.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback. And we're all the way live right here at WHPR, WHPS. And we thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research. And we are going to have a packed morning, as I tell the media, it's either feast or famine. Today, I think it's going to be a feast. And for those of you who were not with us this past Saturday, oh man, it was a overcapacity crowd. You should have been there. We celebrated Sweetest Day and talked about a black agenda, and it was just a lot going on. But anyway, we will be meeting the second Saturday of November, and we look forward to you putting that on your calendar so you can join us then. Hood Research has a website, hoodresearch.org. The telephone number is area code 248-234-2371. Again, that's 248-234-2371. We thank all of you who helped to sponsor this program. And if there's someone who is going to, wants to, or considering, we ask that you make your check or your money order out to Hood Research. However, if you prefer making it out to Watkins Broadcasting Company, we don't have any objection to that. We just ask that you send it to Hood Research so that we can be sure that it gets credited for this program. I want to say good morning to Rosa and to Kim and to Ron and Vera and Barbara and Phyllis, Katrina. I want to say good morning to Henry and Thabiti and to Al and to Rochelle. There are just so many more that I have been meeting over the weekends and from the different community meetings that I attend. But thank you so much. We have with us this morning two Hood Research meeting members. And we have an issue to talk about as it relates to the community advisory committees. And those of you who don't know about a community advisory committee, we're going to let you know. They will also want to talk about the presidential forum. That's so important and exciting. It's going to take place. And we are going to let you know how to go about that. And then we have a man who people would just thought was so wonderful. And Ben Carson, it turns out that he's crap. Anyway, he happens to be in the cabinet down in Washington, D.C., and levying some very detrimental policies over the city of Detroit. So we want to start with Scotty Bowman this morning, member of Hood Research. You wanted to talk about advisory board?
Yeah, well, a community advisory council is the formal label for it.
Okay.
And District 7 was the only district in Detroit to have a community advisory council up until this month. Currently, and so the way it works is in the city charter in 2012, they put in a provision that allowed for a district to have a community advisory council, but it had to be petitioned for. So the mayor's office was automatically spelled out in the charter, the city council was automatically spelled out in the charter, and the board of police commissioners were automatically spelled out, the city clerk. These were all offices that people would elect people to automatically. The community advisory council only existed by petition. Now, once a petition was completed, then it was automatic. So there wasn't an additional vote on approval of a community advisory council. And years have gone by since then, and like I said, one district did this, and it was District 7, but hardly anyone heard about it. I'm trying to make sure it goes different than that here with District 4, which is, one of the reasons I asked to be here, and one of the reasons that I've been actually quite aggressively pushing this information out to the public, is I really want people to be aware of the Community Advisory Council option, and I want to make sure people in District 4 specifically know they have one, that they don't have a surprise when they go to vote and wonder, well, who are these people? What is this? I want them to be fully aware going into things, what they are voting about and who the people are that are on it. So that's what's getting me motivated right now.
Okay, you have to have signatures?
Yeah, in fact, I started in April, and I went door to door, mainly in the community. I also went to some community meetings and collected signatures there, but the vast majority of them I got by simply going door to door, street by street, in District 4 until I got 1,570 signatures, and enough of those were deemed valid on October 4th to create the Community Advisory Council. But it was quite a long effort, and a lot of people might ask, well, why didn't you have other people doing this? That was possible, but what it turned out, and I did have a couple people initially volunteered and didn't really do that much, and I had some people who came on a little late. But what made it more complicated than most petitions, and this is the only time I've ever seen this on a legal petition, was that each individual page needed to be notarized. And so the way it works with petitions normally is a circulator, the person walking around with it, fills information out at the bottom certifying that they witnessed the signing of the petition. In this case, my signing at the bottom that I witnessed it also had to be witnessed by a notary. And so the process of getting people together and making sure it's not like you can just give me the petition to turn in. You have to meet up with the notary and sign the petition and then hand it in. So it made it a little more sophisticated.
Right. What the boundaries of District 4?
And this is giving a rough boundary, is it's roughly bounded by Gratiot, Connor, and then the part on the other side of Jefferson goes a little further west and runs along the water. Any part of Detroit that is touching Grosse Pointe or Harper Woods is also in District 4. So there is deviation from that. There's, a lot of side streets, a lot of other streets this cuts along. I actually have a detailed description of those boundaries on a website that I recently modified so that it would be an information site on District 4, and that's at bowmanfordetroit.com.
I'll spell it.
BOMAN, number 4, Detroit.com.
Okay. And how far west does it come? Do you include any of downtown?
No. Downtown is solidly in District 5.
Oh, okay.
That would be, and so like our councilman for District 4 is Andre Spivey, and the council person for District 5 would be Mary Sheffield.
Oh, okay. I actually prefer citizen district councils, which did not go, they were voted out. And they were just defunded by Dennis Archer, which made the participants, I don't know, I guess just disgruntled and disappointed. But have you met at all yet? The advisory council.
And here's how that part of it works. Is and there's a little discrepancy between what the charter says and what the city ordinance says. And I'm going to be investigating that further in the days ahead. But the currently, the council exists on paper, but the seats have not been filled. The way the seats are filled is that the city council has an application process, and I suppose those interested could start applying now for the 2 appointed positions. There's a total of 7 positions on the Community Advisory Council. The 2 appointed positions are age-specific in that one spot is reserved for a teenager, literally a person from the ages of 13 through 17, and the other spot is reserved for a senior citizen. The remaining 5 are elected according to rules similar, qualifications the same as other candidates for elected office in Detroit, with the dates of the election being kind of interesting. In the city charter, it said that the election will be held, the members will be chosen, the 5 elected people will be chosen in the next election to take place in the city of Detroit. And then it says, if allowed by law.
Oh, boy.
Now, the city ordinance, which maybe that could be the law they're saying if allowed by, but I'm assuming when I had read it, my reading would be if allowed by other laws. The city ordinance says the next general election.
Oh, geez, that's November.
Correct.
General election, but the next election is March the 10th, which is only for the Democratic candidates. So that needs to be investigated.
So my interpretation of the charter would be, that it would be in the March presidential primary election. And it would be a nonpartisan section on that ballot, which we've had before in primary elections.
Right.
And so that it would be in a nonpartisan section, but it would be in the primaries, how I read the charter. And so when I asked the clerk, she referred to the ordinance. I looked at the ordinance, which the city council drafted as far as dealing with the details of what was spelled out in the charter.
Right.
And the way they drafted the ordinance is it does read general election. And so it would be the top 5 candidates from there, regardless of how many people ran.
And to appoint it. We have someone on the line.
Hello, caller.
Your
Good
name
morning,
and
Mrs. Broden. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Your name and how you're watching us.
I'm not watching you. I just called. Miss Broden, I want to tell you one thing. Thank you. I owe that to you. And this is Miss Valerie. And the reason why I want to say thank you to you is because you allowed me to call in years ago on your show and to give information out to the community. At the same time, I would like to just let everyone know now that if you want a grant from the city of Detroit, call the mayor's office at 224-3400 and tell them you want them to transfer you over to the grant department and get your name put down on that application for a grant.
What's a
And I
grant
want to
for?
thank you so much. Okay?
What is a grant for, Valerie?
Roofings, windows, furnace.
Okay.
Remember before they came with the Dan Gilbert, and they came with the 0% interest, but you can take
we had the
it was
hardest
a
hit
grant.
fund.
Now you got the grant back, but you got to put your name on the application.
On the list, yeah.
On the list, I'm sorry, yes.
Oh, all right.
So I just want to tell you, thank you
Oh,
so
you're
much.
welcome, Valerie.
And you have a wonderful and blessed day, and I'm still listening to Mr. Bowers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank
Valerie,
you so
can
much.
we still get that number again?
Okay, yes, the mayor's office is 224-3400, and ask for you want to be transferred over to the grant department.
Thank
So you
Valerie.
can put your name down, and they will call you and let you know. So if you need a new roofing, now, only thing about that roofing, I want to say this. You got to have full insurance on your property. Because they're not going up on top of that roof if you do not have full insurance. But windows and furnace and all those things, that's nothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ms. Brooks.
You're
Okay?
welcome.
Okay,
You're welcome.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for the information. The numbers here are 868-4336. 668-4336. If any of you have any additional questions for either of my guests. You said a teenager or a senior, but you didn't give an age for seniors. Sometimes we're told seniors start at 55. Other times we're told seniors start at 60. So there are a number of ages, which is included in the information you have.
And I don't know if I'd seen that in the ordinance. I'm going to look that up.
We'll write that down. That's something else you have to check.
I mean, my guess was 65, but I don't see it. I didn't see that in print.
It depends, because they tell me AARP says 55. Of course, it may be about money, too.
Yes, it might.
Theo, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is there any funding behind this position, or any stipend or something along that line?
The city charter actually is very explicit on that, and there is no taxpayer dollars expended on this. So the community advisory councils may raise money by voluntary contributions. And I had a lot of people asking questions about that when I was posting things like, for instance, on Nextdoor.com about this. And I think that this is another reason that when people select their representatives on the Community Advisory Council, that they choose people that are going to ensure transparency on matters of contributions for the Community Advisory Council, so that there isn't anything, underhanded or sneaky or unclear going on there about where the money's coming in and whether or not there's any expectations from that money.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good information. Now, we have another issue. Oh, goodness, I turned the phone off. We have another issue here, which has to do, right? Somebody has on the phone. It might be for you. We need to find out about an event that's taking place soon.
Hello, everybody. Yes, we're having a presidential forum, Michigan United. The website you need to go to, and its tickets are available, and they are free. It's Michigan United, www.michiganunited.com/presidential forum. It's going to be held at the old Cobo Hall, the new TCF Bank. It's the old Cobo Hall.
It's
going to be on October the 20th from 5 o'clock to 8:30. You would have to contact Michigan United to find out the different candidates. My understanding, there's several that has confirmed, and the seating capacity is approximately around about 3,000. I believe we already have confirmed 2,000, so it's important that you contact Michigan United, and that's MIUNITED.org/presidential forum, and put in Hood Research as your organization. That way, Hood Research will get recognition. And it's important for us to be informed and be able to have find out information. It's very informative. We need to be on the front line, get out there to make sure the candidate of your choice, you'll have some informed information. Again, that's www.michiganunited.org/presidential forum. That's going to be held October the 20th from 5 o'clock p.m. to 8:30.
Now, what day is
It's a Sunday.
Sunday? Okay, so that would be this coming Sunday.
Yes.
The 20th of October. It starts at what time?
5 o'clock p.m.
5 p.m. Okay, and it's going to take place at the building that should have been named Aretha Franklin Convention Center.
That's right. I agree.
However, the old Cobo Hall. Now, do you have information on the agenda, how the whole, forum will be conducted?
Well, there will be each candidate, and it's a total of 3
That have confirmed.
I'm not sure which ones they are at this point. I believe Biden had, Biden, Bernie had signed on, but due to his circumstances, I don't know how true that is, but contact Michigan United for more information.
Oh, okay.
Now, this
We had
is-
heard that he had a heart attack and had to have 2 stents put in.
Yes.
But he says he's still gonna, campaign. Yes, Scotty.
Well, because I had a friend actually look at the link that I believe you said to go to for that,
Yes.
and she said that according to that website that it was in Ohio.
Huh?
No, it's here. It's here. It's
Oh,
on Weston Street here in Detroit. The Michigan.org.
What's on Weston Street?
The headquarters for this forum, this particular forum, and it's all over the state of Michigan. It's about over 20 or 30 organizations from Detroit. From Michigan, from suburban Michigan. Okay, and that's the reason why I'm personally making sure, and I've done it. Michigan Welfare Rights also have a link to that as well. But I did it personally for some members this past Saturday.
So the link again is
www.miuinted.org/presidential forum.
okay.
And when it comes up, put in for our members. Put in Hood Research. I personally did it for several people this past Saturday.
Okay.
And I am there hands-on, and I personally made sure. My issue is for concerning mental illness, and my personal issue is for low-income families. So I personally made sure that those issues were going to be on the agenda.
You want the presidential candidates to respond.
That's right. That's
so
the
that what do
purpose.
they plan to do should
right.
they become president of these United States?
That,
Right.
And to voice our opinion. Correct.
Oh, okay. You have a a tablet or somewhere you can log in and see if it comes up for you now.
I could do that. By the way, I did while you were discussing that, I also took a look to answer that question regarding the age of the senior representative, and there is none. There's none in the charter. There's none in the ordinance.
Ouch.
Oh, okay.
So this,
More work need to be done.
yeah.
In their haste to do what they think is best for us, they didn't bother to ask us what's best for us. Okay. So now, this coming Sunday, which is the 20th of October, there's going to be a forum at
Presidential forum.
Presidential forum at the location downtown building, which used to be Cobo Hall, is now TCF.
Yes.
TCF Convention Center. Like I said, it should have been Aretha Franklin Convention Hall, but nevertheless, that's where it's being held, 5 p.m. until 8 p.m., right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, the website is Michigan United. Michigan is abbreviated MIUNITED. What else?
.org
.org.
presidential forum.
/presidential forum. When you go in to register and they ask for your organization, put in that you're with Hood Research. You heard it from here, Hood Research. Okay. Now there's another issue with Ben Carson. Oh, Lord have mercy. A cabinet member in Washington, D.C., who seems to be doing some devastating things to the city of Detroit and trying to include, Dearborn and Inkster or wherever else.
Yes. This is per the Free Press. And this
Okay.
was done originally June of 2018. This was the prediction back then. And this is the truth, what is happening now.
Oh, dear.
Okay, Ben
Okay.
Carson, and you can Google it. Ben Carson in Detroit draws question on rent hikes for poor people. And this is in the Free Press. Okay, when he was here visiting Duggan, his presentation that he gave, it was unprecedented. The House and Urban League Secretary Ben Carson suggested that previous plans to increase rent and low-income people may not happen. He lied. It did happen. And he gave a projection for 2018 to 2019. Okay, a policy center that earlier that day dropped a bombshell report that highlighted hardships that would come if the legislation passed as Ben Carson originally presented it. Okay, now this issue was a Trump administration directive. Okay, in April of 2018, Carson showcased a Making Affordable Housing Work Act, unquote. Okay, the administration's goal is turning HUD assistance recipient into self-reliant individuals. It does not explain how it's going to be done. And the budget person from, here, I got it. Will Fisher. He's a senior policy assistant, analyst for the Policy Center. And they were unaware of this happening in Michigan. And even the headquarters Policy Center in Washington, D.C., and Representative Brenda Lawrence, when they were told about this situation, they were totally unaware back in April when Carson dropped this bombshell. This needs to be investigated because right now people are calling into Michigan Welfare Rights because their rent has been raised, and this is Section 8, and it's no longer called Section 8. It's crazy.
What's it called now?
Okay, now it's called the Public Housing, Making Affordable Housing Work Act. That's what it's called. HUD assistance recipients who currently pay 30% of their adjusted income on rent up under this proposed legislation, which did pass. Those households that include individuals ages 18 to 65 and who are not disabled, this is what they said back then, they are including the disabled up under this. If you lose your housing or your formerly Section 8, you will no longer be able to, you're cut off permanently per this new legislation. Okay, for whatever reason, you cut off. HUD assistant, okay, it says, let's see, another rent would be the minimum rent, rents would raise. Say like, just as an example, if you're paying $50 a month, it's going to go to $150 a month.
Wow.
It's crazy. And then the other sad part, if you are not in this income bracket and you get a little part-time job and you out of the bracket, so again, you lost. It's devastating. And this is the thing, this is the crazy thing. Carson shocked many while unveiling a plan for self-sufficiency centers known as Envision centers. That's what they call them, Envision centers. And there's one here in Detroit that says that one in Detroit and centers in 16 other communities. When they say communities, are they talking about states? Are they talking about different cities? You know, that is very vague.
Where's the one?
Okay, well,
you say where the one is in Detroit?
Yes. I got to go back all the way to the end of the page. Hold on.
Okay.
Where is it? Hold on, y'all. It's here. It's right near Dexter. Okay, the creation of the Envision Centers, according to Carson, which is an attempt to make it so people no longer turn to support for support for housing. Okay, this I was trying to read. Okay, I have to get back, but it's in Detroit. This Envision Act. And like I said, go to Ben Carson in Detroit, draws questions on rent hikes and for poor people. And originally, the poor people were supposed to get an increase in income, but it did not happen. But the rise in the rent did happen. So it's just devastating.
Wow.
It's just devastating. And the fact that our analyst was unaware. And our senator, our congressperson,
right,
Brenda Lawrence, which was there, she wrote that we were unaware of these cuts. But I'm telling you, it's actually happening right now. So you have someone on the line.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, hurry up. I had to get to work. Listen, last week at Butso Center, they had the seniors coming in for the home repair, the ones that got the grant.
Yes.
Those people been on the list for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I asked the people that was handling that, could other seniors come in and apply for the grant? And she said, this is a 2-year waiting list. They're just now being called for the grants to get the home repair. And no, I couldn't get any other seniors in there to apply for that grant.
I understand.
Because they're working with people that's been on the list for 2 years, and many of them probably don't even know or can't be contacted now after 2 years, because the number of people that did show up was like 1 to 3 people at a time. And they had folks sitting there, trying to help them so they can get that grant. So I don't know. Y'all can call the mayors and verify if they still doing it. But they were doing it only because those people been on a waiting list for 2 years. MichiganUnited.org. I can't find the presidential form. It won't come up. But I do have the phone number. I just went to Michigan United, and they do have a phone number, and maybe that might help those like me. I'm having a problem getting into there. It's not being found. And their number is 877-507-7774, and that's to the MichiganUnited.org. But the presidential form, I can't find it.
Give that phone number again.
It's 877-507-7774. So for those like me that might be having a hard time, we can't pull the page up.
Right.
I did get Michigan United phone number online.
Oh, that's good.
Thanks for taking my call, but once again, I don't know if they got any more grants, because I asked a question that last week when they came in. Off of a 2-year waiting list.
Right. Well, it won't hurt to
call the mayor and
ask
see
that,
if
yeah.
they still allowing people in there
Right.
for that repair grant.
They may have rearranged and put some more money in there. You can always hope, right?
Yeah, well, we're hoping some more money popped up because
Yeah, yeah.
I asked just last week, could I get more seniors in there to apply? And they said those people were there because of the 2-year waiting list.
Well,
and
see-
that's the information. I just got it last week because they were there.
Okay, well,
That's a bunch
seeing
of
as
Thanks, Sylvia.
yeah, seeing as how the charter commissioners had to turn back about $136,000, they could put that in the hardest hit fund for the
They
grants.
need to.
Yeah.
They need to.
All right.
But,
Okay.
so I'm glad the lady called because I'm telling you, those people were in here last week and I questioned that. Thank
Well,
you.
more people come. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
That gives them the knowledge to know that there are still seniors in our community who need assistance, and they need to continue putting in for that.
And for those of you who are having problems trying to reach that website, go to my Facebook, and it's logged onto my Facebook, Tawana, Tijuana, Morris, Morris. And if you see a donkey on the page, that's my page.
Okay.
And the flyer is posted on my page.
Hey, for those of you who are tuned in, you need to know also that you can watch the Hood Research Show feedback on Fire Stick, Roku. You can do on your telephone, go to the App Store and pull it down. If you have the TV with rabbit ears, you turn to channel 15.1, 15.2, and you can tune in to us. We had over 1,000 who were tuned into us last Monday, and we thank all of you for tuning into this program. And we want you to also know that Hood Research has a website, which is hoodresearch.org. And we meet on the second Saturday of each and every month. And we had an overcapacity crowd last Saturday, and we lifted up our men by celebrating Sweetest Day.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you a little more about my experience over the summer because one thing that I really appreciated about the petitioning process was I had an opportunity to talk to well over 3,000 people, just
good.
literally, I mean, it's somewhat random in the sense that I was going door to door, but normally we meet people who go to the places we go. We meet people who go the same meetings we go to or online or part of the same groups or the
Right.
same networks. And what was cool about this is the only thing I necessarily had in common was that we lived together in the same district. And so it gives one a broader sense of really who's out there
Yeah.
and what their concerns are. And I think that our elected people maybe often forget about that, especially if they have a lot of money to campaign with. They'll end up putting out advertisements, do those mailers, and show up at some high-profile events, but they won't necessarily really hear from people and hear what their concerns are. And I don't think there's really any substitute for one-on-one contact with individuals.
There isn't.
And propaganda is very confusing. It's best to do the one-on-one. That's good. A lot of lobbyists get paid a lot of money to get the information out there. But is it fact and is it true? During our time, and especially up under this president we got.
Well, that's what's important about the meetings, because there are so many people who are also doing research, and they can come and share the information that they have gleaned as well, So the election for the advisory board of 5 is up in the air.
Well, no, according to the ordinance and according to the city clerk, who I believe would actually be required to follow the ordinance before interpreting the charter, the election is in November. But my concern is that when the city council drafted the ordinance, that perhaps they didn't read over the language in the charter carefully enough, unless, and I will be asking about this, unless the legal department actually had advised them that there was something in state law that prevented them from putting those people on the ballot in March. My only worry really as far as that goes, where I think it would actually make a big difference, is if you get a flood of candidates. So, I mean, let's say you have, 15 candidates, and the top 5 get elected in November. That top 5 collectively might still represent a minority of the voters, just because you got so many people on there. Whereas the way we otherwise would have it is you'd have the top 10, selected in the primary would then go into the general election, and then the top 5 out of those would go. And so there would be a broader amount of support required for those people to get in. So I think it's peculiar that we just have one election. Now, I know with other offices there are cases where they bypass the primary, but they'll do it when there are not enough people filing for the office for a primary to be necessary. So in other words, if your top 10 get advanced to the general election and you have 10 or fewer people filing to be in the primary, well, then they don't need a primary, and legally they do move that up into the general. But that isn't the case here, because in fact it's unknown at this point how many people will file.
Wow. Well, do they have a deadline by which they have to file to be one of the 5?
Well, and the clerk told me it was August 25th, and that's when because up until that moment when I had sent in an email asking about this, I had assumed it would either be March or August primary that their names would first be listed in. And when I was told August, I'm like, well, that doesn't give them time to be in the primary. And they're like, oh, they don't get in the primary. And then that's when I asked about, well, the charter says this, and I was sent a copy of the ordinance, and that point it became clear to me that the ordinance said one thing and the charter said something else. And again, there is that little clause in the charter about if allowed by law, so maybe that's the connection. And it's something to find out. I mean,
So,
one thing...
has anybody registered since the deadline was August? Has anybody else registered to be on the ballot, which is in March, by the way?
And it seems like our city clerk needs to do their job a little bit better, and the election commission.
To announce that.
That's right. They need the transparency, and they need the information put out. They go for our mayor too. Our elected officials. We need to be more transparent and more informative to the citizens.
Right. Did anybody register,
Oh, yeah? No, in fact, I don't even believe they would have nominating petitions ready yet, because we just did this. We filed the petitions on October 1st. They confirmed it on October 4th. I will be following up on that. Like I said, I don't think they even have nominating petitions ready yet for that office in my district, though I suppose the format is already laid out because they already did it in the 7th district. And this is something people in any district could do. When I was going out there, a lot of people were like, who are you? How did you get authorized to do this? And my answer was, well, you could have done it too. A lot of times people just don't know.
They did it right.
Yeah, it's any qualified voter in their district may petition to do this, and they're asking like who gets on there, and I'm like, well, you could get on there. If you've lived in the city for a year as a registered voter, you can go ahead and at the time of filing, in fact. So even if they haven't met the year requirement yet, they can run for the office and be balloted. In fact, since it isn't, and so. It's a very open thing. A lot of people could get involved if they choose to get involved.
Right, and as Tawana said, it should have been publicized to the community so they would know more about it. Hello, you're on the air with Hood Research, and my guest this morning.
Oh, I forgot to tell y'all that Welfare Rights have already informed us that if the Republicans, we don't get those Republicans out of there, they're going to adopt Ben Carson's policy, which would allow HUD to sell all the low-income and Section 8 properties to the developers who are in Detroit, wiping everybody out of the city. So, yeah, the HUD is being under attack where they're going to change and go along with Ben Carson's policy if we don't get those Republicans out. So we need to really get with all the people that we can to see if they can buy up the property and continue to allow these people to have affordable housing. These mega churches, you know, that seem not to be helping, they would be key to helping this property stay owned by persons who care about the less fortunate. But that's what I wanted to add. Maybe that we can talk with the Charter Commission and the man that's on your show, what's his name? About the
Scotty
advisory.
Bowman.
We get an advisory committee.
Right.
Yeah, to work on that issue as well, because that's throwing seniors and children and everybody else out in the street.
Right. Well,
Okay, thank you for taking my call. Yeah, love y'all.
Love you too. Thank you, Sylvia. So informative. Thank you.
I'm so glad that Tawana Morris brought that to our attention today, because that's one of the things that we need to inform our community about, and we'll have it at our next meeting in November as well.
One connection I do see here is, for instance, the city council does vote on all the demolitions pretty much. I mean, there's a list of demolitions that they'll have, and they'll usually vote on them as a block. But a demolition that specifically happens in your district would be something that a community advisory council should be consulted on. And often, I found out through some activists that the demolitions are not necessarily occurring in a manner that is fair, that people will have their property tagged as blighted and have property demolished that would often be in much better upkeep than other property that is not tagged for demolition. And often it has to do with whether or not there's a developer who has their eyes on that property.
Which is a prize. They have their eye on the prize. Yes.
Theo had to fight vigorously in our community, not just Theo, a whole group of us, but Theo being the leader. But the property finally did come down, and we have been fighting over 2 years to get this property down off of its own Wyoming.
Across from Drew School.
Right across the street from Drew School.
Yeah.
And anybody could have, Halloween time, drug somebody in that property because it was open.
Right.
But we were vigilant, and we finally got that property down. Thank you, Theo.
Dun, da, da, dun, da, 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 da. The principal of Drew School had been trying to get it demolished as well.
That's how serious it was.
Oh, yeah. So Hood Research had to step up to the plate and do what we could to see it through, and we did. And on October the 8th, the crew was out there, and hey, by the end of the day, it was gone. Yeah, so
let's bring back that dollar house, that Motor City match. Why not use those monies for what it was intended for, and get the people back into the houses, and so that they can afford the house.
Right.
And give them the grant money.
Yeah, and there's also a program that Eugene Cunningham speaks of. He owns a real estate company. He used to work for the council, and he's done a lot of research on it. And that's the nuisance abatement law.
Correct.
It actually exists. Is that something that your committee would look into, Scotty Bowman?
Well, and ultimately, anything that's done is up to the people who actually get elected, but that is something that they should be able to look into, and that a person representative of the interests of the people in their district would certainly want to look into any cases where there is a nuisance within the district, and when there's a city council vote that affects that. It's the charter says that the council is required, or can be required, I should say, to consult with the Community Advisory Council about these things. So then it's really up to the elected members of the Advisory Council to actually do their due diligence and make sure to, when people have a complaint about a nuisance and there's a vote on an abatement, that they are bringing in the members of the district and finding out what their views are and passing that along to the council person.
And on the other hand, there are investors coming in buying 20 houses at a time, and they're getting a better deal than the poor person that actually have to live next door to the blight. So we need the council, city council, and affordable housing. Let's get busy.
Yeah, I was at a council meeting, and there was an activist who had actually been trying to buy a house for several years and could not get that property, and was actually keep taking care of the property like
Yes.
people are expected to if they want to request a side lot.
Yes,
And it ended up getting sold to somebody who was not from the community at all after all that time. And this person had actually been offering, instead of the $100 side lot amount, was actually making a bid for a much larger amount for the property. And the people who ended up getting it from outside the community had put in, spent far less on it.
Yes. I know for a fact that there are people buying houses in bundles, but you go and you ask for one house and you can't get it, but that house will be vacant over 2-3 years.
Right. There needs to be what we call a forensic audit. There needs to be a forensic audit, and it needs to be on the land bank for the city and the land bank for the county.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to start with that, because there are people who have spent a lot of time and effort caring for properties that are right next to them to keep the whole area looking nice, that whole block from being just inundated with blighted properties. So that's something else you are looking at. There are all kinds of issues that a community advisory board can research and speak out on. So have you interested anyone else into establishing an advisory council in their district?
Not yet. I haven't heard back really from anyone who is all set to go out and petition for one. But at least now it's on people's radar, and I hope to keep getting it out there. And, I have had some people, and you brought up community district councils earlier as a better option, and there are a lot of people who do feel that this is perhaps something a bit too weak, may not be that effective. And my response is that may be true, but it's something instead of nothing. Yeah. And it does provide at least one more avenue by which people can have a voice. I'm not naive enough to think that it's going to solve most of the city's ills, but it can help. And that's really, all I expect of any effort is to make things better, not to make things perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is true. Now, tell us again about the Presidential Forum.
Again, the Presidential Forum, you can contact my Facebook, Tawana Morris, Tijuana Morris, Morris, and when you see the donkey, that's me. You can go on my page and the forum, the flyer for the forum, but again, www.michiganunited, MIUNITED.org/ Presidential Forum. That's October the 20th from 5 o'clock to 8:30. Thank you.
All right. We are going to have to take a station break. Is it top of the hour break?
To be able to meet people from different countries enriches our lives.
Wayne County gave me so much, my degree, who I am.
The college supports you to grow
They have the different campuses. I'm like, I can try this. Makrit Shonga, Ethiopia.
Sandra Gonzalez, Mexico.
Arminalda Carrick, Bosnia.
Javed Khan, Bangladesh. Go to Wayne County. They will find your path and you will know what to do next.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-996-9845. Call now, 1-800-996-9845. For a free brochure, call 1-800-996-9845.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
Is your credit card debt driving you batty?
We're going up! Just like your credit card fees and interest rates. Always fear, the debt suckers are here.
One call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your back. Consolidated Credit will lower your interest rates, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, and get you out of debt fast. Call Consolidated Credit and get your life back.
Call 800-479-4426. 800-479-4426.
Betty and Debbie both need to trim their dog's nails, but Betty's dog hates having his nails trimmed, so she struggles every time. And her regular clippers pinch and cut to the quick. But Debbie's dog doesn't mind it at all because she's found a simple solution. Introducing Paw Perfect, the new safe, quick, and easy way to keep your dog's nails trimmed perfectly. Paw Perfect uses a rotary filing action, just like the pros do, to gently file the nail to a perfectly smooth finish, giving you precise, pain-free trimming right at home. Paw Perfect replaces old-fashioned, painful clippers like these and makes nail grooming safe and easy for just $19.99. That's less than one trip to the groomer. We'll even give you free shipping. Order right now and you can get a second Paw Perfect. Just pay a separate fee. Yes, you get it all.
To order, call 1-800-329-5718 or go to trypawperfect.com. That's 1-800-329-5718 or visit trypawperfect.com.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
This is Theo Broden from Feedback. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman. I am here to address all of your complaints and concerns. If you need assistance regarding city services, please contact my office at 313-224-6000 or contact us via email at ombudsman@detroitmi.com.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpina.
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback, feedback, feedback.